Welcome! Have you heard of Thérèse Concordia Mengs-Marron? She was a German miniature and pastel painter of the 18th century. At that time, it was difficult for women to establish themselves as painters, but thanks to her artistic family, her talent, her education, and her proximity to influential circles, she managed to gain recognition. Let's take a closer look at her life. She was born in Aussing, Bohemia, in 1725. She grew up with a strict father who nevertheless gave his children a thorough artistic education, so that she was introduced to art at an early age, together with her brother Anton Raphael, who later became a famous court painter, and her sister Julia Charlotte, who later entered a convent and continued to work there as a painter. At a young age, all three were employed as court painters at the Saxon court in Dresden and received an annual pension, similar to her brother, whereby she was particularly appreciated for her miniatures and pastel portraits. When she was 21, her father decided to travel to Italy with his 3 children. 6 years later, the whole family moved permanently to Rome. She worked in her brother's studio, and in 1765 married Anton von Marron, a Viennese student of her brother's. Despite her late marriage at the age of 40, the couple had 5 children. The following year, she and her husband became members of the Accademia di San Luca. The couple lived in Madrid for several years, but spent most of their time in Rome, where they were part of a network of important figures, including the painter Angelica Kauffmann and the art historian Johann Joachim Winckelmann. She died in Rome in 1806 at the age of about 81. Let's take a closer look at her painting style and motifs. Her painting style is characterized by the delicate use of pastel and oil paints and the realistic expression of her portraits. She mainly painted portraits, religious scenes, and miniature copies of famous works with great attention to detail. Among her best-known works are her miniature copies of famous paintings by Antonio Correggio, including The Day and The Holy Night. These works demonstrate her extraordinary talent for reproducing great masterpieces in small format with great detail and precise coloring. In addition to these miniatures, her self-portrait is also of particular significance. The portrait sensitively conveys a strong presence that underscores her personality as an established painter. Overall, Thérèse Concordia Mengs-Marron created only a small number of verifiable works, but she left behind a remarkable artistic oeuvre that paved the way for women of her time. However, many of her works were probably created in her brother's workshop and have been handed down under his name. We hope you enjoyed this insight into the life and work of Thérèse Concordia Mengs-Marron. If so, subscribe to our channel for more exciting art stories. And if you have any further information about her life and work, please write it in the comments.